coach. Do you anticipate them making changes? Does that make it more complicated for you to prepare for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think, he's probably obviously going to have a huge influence on what they're doing defensively. And, and I'm not sure if he did this past game or not. You can kind of tell they were more odd this past game than they have been the first two. So, I'm not sure if that's him being there this past week or not. But obviously, Coach Tackett trusts him and what his opinions. And so bringing him in just gives you another person that's called defenses, that's been a great defensive coordinator in his tenure, just to give him a little bit more help there. And, so we'll see. He's just got there, week and a half, 2 weeks. We'll see how much impact he'll have this week. Still kind of early as far as time frame goes to have a huge impact, I think, but obviously we'll have an impact.
You mentioned Seth Dawkins, Des Patrick. They both only had 4 catches through 3 games. And what is it that's keeping them from being sort of a large part of the offense? Is it any one thing, or is it a combination?
Well, I mean, it's probably a combination. One got 2 games in the AKU game. We caught Des had a play. He slips and falls down. Seth slips and falls down in the AKU game. It could have been 2 completions there. We've called their number some, and we've ended up going to another receiver. We just hadn't called a lot of passes either. If you go back and you look at it, we had 16 attempts this past weekend. And then some where Malik took off running and scrambled, where we had a pass play called. But I think it's just getting more comfortable with all of us. Calling the plays, the kids executing the plays, making the throws, making the catches. We go back to Notre Dame game. There was probably 4 errant throws and probably 4 or 5 drops. But we're not going out. We're not throwing it 45 times a game. I think if we did that, we're not going to be in these games. We have to play to our strength, what we feel like helps our team out as a football team. I think our defense is playing really, really good right now. I think what we do offensively helps them out. When you're doing that, we're trying to win football games. And if throwing it 45 times would win us games, we would do it. But we feel like if we can run the football, take our shots when we can. I think right now after 3 weeks we're top 10 in the country in big plays offensively. We're making some big plays in there, so we continue to do that. It gives us a great chance to win football games, but we do want to get them involved. I think they're doing a great job blocking on the perimeter, but they're talented players, and we want to get them involved. And hopefully, as we move forward, we'll be able to get those guys some touches.
Scott, you talked about Juwan's progress, how good Malik looked in his first start this last week. Even if Juwan's healthy this weekend, what do you think about starting Malik?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll as I said post-game, we're going to play the guy that gives us the best chance to win football games, and I really don't care who it is. I mean, I really don't. I just want to put the guy in there that's going to help us win football games, whatever that is. And so as you go out through practice, whoever does that does the best job with this game plan. As we move throughout the week, they're going to start, they're going to play, they'll get the most reps. And so, as I said earlier, right now Puma's not healthy, and so we're going to play the healthiest player, we'll evaluate that down the road, whenever all 3 guys get healthy.
You mentioned in the third quarter they didn't come out and play it like you would like them to. In addition to the turnover, what was you think the cause of that, and what's the lesson to be learned from that?
Well, I think in the EKU game we came out, I think the first play, Hawkins goes down the sideline, big play, kind of got us going momentum. It's amazing how momentum plays a big time effect for these guys, any teams, and so we come out in the second play, we fumble, we put our defense in a bind right there, and then they end up going and scoring. It's just all about momentum. When that happens, you have to grab it back. We have to go back out and grab it back. And offensively, we just didn't execute. The first 3 drives in the second and third quarter. And when you're doing that, your defense is having to go right back out on the field. And it's just never grab that momentum until we hit the long play with 2-2 in the fourth. I think that was into the third. So you just got to grab the momentum back and somehow just. Do a lot better job with that. I mean, obviously you can't turn the football over. That was huge, and particularly when you got a good lead like we had. That's sloppy play. We don't want to do that. We want to play a lot cleaner second half.
Tomorrow is the 3-year anniversary of 63-20, a little over Florida State. Lamar Jackson may have clinched the Heisman Trophy that day. As a coach operating in another part of the country, do you remember what impression just seeing that score made on you? And how much you knew about Lamar at that point?
Yeah, I can't remember how much I knew about him. I do remember watching highlights of that game, you know, seeing him make plays was incredible to see how it made, and it looked like, you know, incredible atmosphere, you know, all the things that you love about college football. And then him making those plays, you know, because the perception was, you know, Florida State, incredible athletes all over the field, you know, and they, you know, probably should win the game. And then you saw how Lamar dominated the game, and you're like, man, he's in a different class, you know, the way he performed that day. And to a point where, you know, if you mentioned the Heisman, I mean, I think at that game, everybody said, you know, he's a guy, he's a front runner and probably could win a Heisman this year. And I think incredible performance, and, you know, and he really hadn't slowed down, you know, from that point, you know, even till yesterday. I mean, so he's still playing that way. He's fun. He was just fun to watch. He was fun to watch back when he played here, and he's still fun to watch now. I love watching the guy play.
Coach, specifically receivers can get sometimes frustrated when they're not
Oh, yeah.
doing the production they want to have. When you watch the film, I know you focus a lot on their blocking. Do you see that in them at all, or are they still focused?
No, I mean, I tell you, to their credit, they've really performed at a high level. They've gone out and blocked every time we call the run. They're just as excited in the locker room. You know, they don't even like Fitz was dancing in the locker room. He didn't catch a ball. You know, I love their attitudes. I love the way how they're bringing it every day. I think they want to win. I think that's the bottom line. They want to win football games, whatever what that means. I promise you, there'll come a time where they're going to have to make plays for us, and that's what we talk to them about all the time is prepare. You know, like the ball's coming to you, you got to make this play. You got to prepare that way all the time, because when it happens, you'll be ready for it. And I love the way their guys are preparing. I know we're going to have to call their number, you know, and there's a great chance it could be this weekend. You know, when their number gets called, they got to make the plays, and so they got to keep their head high and keep rolling and keep going with it, because again, they'll have to make plays for us in the future, and they can't get down. But you're right. I mean, as a receiver, you know, you want to get some action. You want to get the ball. I understand that completely, and we want to get them the ball, and so eventually we will. I mean, it'll happen for them.
Lamar's the most prominent one, but you go back to Sam Madison, Jay Gruden, a bunch of guys from Florida have had big impacts at Louisville. How important is Florida in your recruiting scheme going forward?
Yeah, it's important. You know, there's a lot of good athletes. I think it's important for a lot of programs throughout the country. And, you know, just so happened that this school with Louisville has been able to get a lot of great players out of there to come here and perform at a high level. We want to continue to do that. You know, Tutu Atwell's a good example right now. You know, more and more explosive players out there, you know, from Florida. And so we want to continue to recruit down there and get those players that can come help us win championships. And, you know, we have to be able to do it. And they're, you know, those guys down there, a lot of those guys can play. I mean, they can run, they can play. And it's not just, you know, your skill type players offensively. There's a lot of good defensive players too. So we're going to stay in there and stay in that state and recruit. We'll probably be out recruiting when we go down, you know, this Friday.
Coach, Javion's second in the ACC in rushing. Obviously, you knew he was capable of having a previous season. Did you think he was capable of doing this so quickly?
Well, I hope so. You know, we kind of going into the season, we knew he could be having a potential to be a really good back, and Hassan too. Really, I mean, both of those guys. I think they're both explosive players. They run hard. I mean, that's the one thing about them. You know, they're not huge guys, but they run hard. They break tackles. That's the thing that's impressed me the most about Hawk is just how he's run through tackles and continue to get a lot of yards after contact. And I think he's one of the better guys in the country with that as well. So, but they're also guys normally that run that hard like that, you know, maybe can't take it the distance. These guys can take it the distance once they break the line of scrimmage. So we had anticipated and hoped that we would be able to run the football like we have been. And you know, we're getting into conference play now, you know, so each and every week would be a big challenge for us to run the football, but we still want to keep it going. You know, and we'd love to be able to lead the league in rushing at the end of the season when we look back on this. It's you know, it's a long season, we know that, but you know, we think if we do that, we give ourselves a good chance of winning a football game.
Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We talked so much about the offense, but the defense, your goal last week was to force turnovers. They did that. So
Yeah.
what's the goal for this week?
Yeah, I mean, that was huge. It was a huge play in the game right before half when we caused the fumble and Rajay picks it up and scores. I mean, those are big-time plays for us. We won the turnover margin for the first time this year. That's huge. And we start ACC play, we got to be able to do that to give ourselves a chance. Defensively, you know, we've played a lot better this year. I think, you know, obviously we've only given up 125 yards rushing the game, and you know, running the football and stopping the run, as I stated before, Notre Dame. We want to continue to be able to do that, and that'll be the theme for all year. If we can do that, make teams one-dimensional, you know, make them have to throw it, and we feel like we'll start getting some of these turnovers in the passing game. We don't have a pick, do we? I mean, you know, 3 games, we got to get some interceptions, you know, so maybe this week we'll get some interceptions, and, you know, that'll be big for us. We were close last week on a couple of opportunities, but we did create 2 turnovers, you know, still got in the backfield a little bit this past week, so we can create some more turnovers, that'll go a long ways for us.
Last one.
It's you, Russ.
Yeah.
Russ, that's for last.
Wake up.
Does anything change going into conference season? I mean, does it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, you know, the sense of urgency probably kicks in a little bit more, you know, but our preparation really doesn't change. The way we go about it, you know, where our preparation is on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the same thing that we're trying to do each and every week, doesn't change. I just think, you know, it's conference time now. I just think, you know, it just has to be, your senses have to be heightened just a little bit more because, you know, it's in order to compete for this championship. You know, these games mean something now. You know, you have to win these games in order to try to compete for this championship. And I think, you know, first game, you know, tough road test, going to you know, usually a team that's always ranked in the top 25 year in and year out with great athletes, a great challenge for our guys. Man, we're excited. We're excited to go play this game and really looking forward to this week.
All right.
All right, thanks, guys.